Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here. Well, God said it would happen, and it is. Unfortunately, things are not looking good for Christianity as it has become the most persecuted group and is exponentially increasing, like set ablaze kind of, as far as persecution is concerned. In fact, I did a report about a month ago where I detailed and showed you a report put out by WHO that said 1 in every 12 Christians are experiencing persecution of some sort. Well, things have really lit up and are on fire. The first report I want to show you here is from Canada, and this is on ottawacitizen.com, and its headline, a church's, quote, core mandate must be pro-choice to access summer jobs grant minister. Now, the report goes on to detail that Canada's employment minister says churches and other religious groups are eligible for a federal grant to hire summer students as long as their core mandate agrees with access to abortion. However, it remains unclear what exactly counts as this core mandate. The new attestation on the Canada Summer Jobs Grant was aimed at anti-abortion groups, but Catholic, evangelical, and other religious organizations are arguing it's unprecedented, unfair, and possibly illegal to be forced to attest to their views on abortion while applying. They also worry this attestation will start because required for other government grants and programs. Speaking at a cabinet retreat in London, Ontario, Employment Minister Patty Hyndai said she's comfortable with the attestation, which requires applicants to check a box saying they have a core mandate that respects reproductive rights. The online application cannot be submitted unless that particular box is checked. Now, this has been made available, or the grant has made available to some 70 some odd thousand people a year. And if you are pro-life, well, then you just got X'd out for that federal grant in Canada, and you can't even apply for it. Interesting, to say the least. But that is the definition of persecution, a very light form of persecution compared to what's happening in other countries, such as torture and beheading and genocide of Christians and crucifixions of Christians. That's what's happening a lot in the Middle East. But at least in Canada, it's a lighter form for now, but you can trust me that the Bible does talk about persecution getting worse for Christians in the future. This is just the tip of the iceberg. And why do I say that America's headed in the same direction? Well, think of what happened with the bakery. Someone who didn't want to bake a cake for their religious beliefs got sued because they didn't want to put certain things on a cake. These are things where it's your religious view. You have a right to your religion, no matter what that religion is. If somebody had a view on one thing and didn't want to do, well, that's their prerogative. That's how it should be. But that is not what is happening. What is happening here in America is if you are pro-life, then you could be considered a terrorist. But those aren't my words. Those are actually the words of the right-wing extremist document that Janet Napolitano put out back in 2009, I think, is the year. But specifically, if you were pro-abortion, then you could be, or pro-life, then you could be considered a terrorist. These are the kind of mentalities and ideas that already exist in America. So it is not far-fetched to say that something like that is right around the corner here in America. And the sad truth is, many of us know that. That's why I have such a heart to get the information out. But you don't have to take my word for it for Christian persecution. I want to show you this report. Now, this report was put out that you see on the screen by a Catholic organization, and it's called Aid to the Church in Need, and it's titled Persecution and Forgotten, a report on Christian oppression for their faith. Now, all throughout these pages, what this report does is it details different countries, specifically in the Middle East for the most part, of where Christian persecution is the worst. In fact, mass genocide is happening with Christians. Christian persecution and genocide in this report is detailed worse now than any other time in history. When you take the globe as a whole, it is worse now than ever. This is huge. This is what the report is saying, not my words. But check out page 5 of the report here. But it details that Christians are persecuted in every Middle Eastern country. And in China, the president has even described Christianity as a foreign invasion. A man in China, the president there, he already highly persecutes people, but to start describing one specific religious group as a foreign invasion, especially from a communist dictator, well, that means serious repercussions. But check out the next page of the report. Page 9, or a couple pages down, says that more than 200 million Christians in the 50 countries where it is most difficult to be a Christian experience persecution because of their faith. Also, page 10, in the 12 of the 13 countries that they specifically focused on, the situation for Christians was worse in overall terms in the periods 2015 to 2017 than within the preceding 2 years, which means the persecution of Christianity is on fire and exploding just within the past 2 years. Something that is it's just a scary thing to think about, especially as if I'm a Christian. Now, Christians are being hung, beheaded, crucified, persecuted, put in labor camps. These are some of the things that are detailed in that 36, 35-page report, but I encourage you to check it out. It's a very short one if you want to see the realities of what's going on with persecution. Now, here's what I want to say to that also is this. And it doesn't matter, I'm a firm believer, no matter what you want to believe, no matter who you are, if you want to be Buddhist, Tibetan, Catholic, Christian, Jew, whatever religion you want to be, that's your prerogative and your choice. And you shouldn't be persecuted for that belief as long as you're not trying to hurt other people in the process. And I believe so that's the way that it should be. No group should be persecuted for what they believe in, yet we're seeing increased intensity in Christianity. Anyhow, I know I wanted to bring this up to you guys so you have the latest and greatest and you can see what's going on, but I really wanted to highlight what was happening in Canada and how close we are here in America. We're already seeing some of that, let's be honest. And the sad truth is, we need to get more involved politically. We need to get more involved at our local levels, and we need to start waking up our churches. Anyhow, thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, and don't forget to check out my partner at noblegoldinvestments.com.